Christmas with the Kranks is a 2004 bomb starring Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Dan Aykroyd. It was based on a book by John Grisham called Skipping Christmas. They had to change the movie's title because that same year, another Christmas comedy was released with a very similar title, that being Surviving Christmas. Apparently the book was not very well received, so that means this is a fairly accurate film adaptation, since the movie got nothing but hatred by the smug, elitist Hollywood movie critics scene. Because that's totally a fair assessment, right? Scoring just 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. But hey, it made a little bit of money at the box office, making $96.6 million on a $60 million budget. So therefore it is a good movie, because if it makes money, then automatically that makes it good, right? Let's see what there is to say about this movie that clearly no one has ever talked about on the internet before me. This is Christmas with the Kranks. We begin with the Crank family dropping off their daughter Claire at the airport. She recently enrolled in the Peace Corps, and she'll be flying off to Peru for a year, so she will not be spending Christmas with them this year, much to the dismay of the wife and mother, Nora. On their way home, they stop off at the store to pick up a few things.
I didn't bring the umbrella.
Oh, I need that stuff from Chips.
I didn't bring the umbrella.
Well, I still need it.
It's gonna have to wait.
Let me guess. He's going to go outside and he's going to get really wet. Oh yes! Oh, that is good. That is funny. That is good stuff. Oh, I tell you, that is some classic Home Improvement, Last Man Standing laughs right there. Fighting the good fight, Tim Allen. While he's outside, he passes by a man in a Santa suit selling umbrellas. This will become important at the end of the movie, as well as an advertisement for a Carnival cruise line. And after checking the prices and crunching numbers at work, he comes to the conclusion that they'll be saving money if they go on the vacation this year and not celebrating Christmas.
We spent $6,100 on Christmas last year. $6,100.
Well, we can still give our charitable donations to Children's Hospital and of course, the church.
No, this is a total boycott, honey.
Whoa, 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 hold on there, okay. Going on vacation during Christmas is one thing, but not donating to church on Christmas? Oh, movie, you're really starting to lose me now. Not like it really matters, since they compromise and say they'll donate the same amount of money to church in the very next scene. The next day at work, Luther prints out a bunch of official letters to hand out to everyone saying that his family is skipping Christmas this year. Meanwhile, Nora tries to keep it a secret, but she has to spill the beans once she lets her friends know that she won't be sending Christmas cards or holding a Christmas Eve party. Her friends, as well as everyone else in the restaurant, are shocked and appalled by this. As they should be. I mean, Christmas is a time-honored tradition in this country. It is when we get together and we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior. As much as the evil atheist elites are trying to take Christ out of Christmas, I will not stand for it. Next scene, we see Luther have to tell Boy Scouts that he won't be buying a Christmas tree this year, much to their disgust. That's because one family in the neighborhood not celebrating Christmas and wanting to go for vacation is clearly something that everyone needs to be cracking down on. You see, when I tell other people what to do, it's because I'm a compassionate and caring person and because I care about them and I'm trying to save their soul. But when other people are telling me what to do, that is clearly a sign of tyranny and it shows that I am the most oppressed person in the world. Feel bad for me. And things only escalate when one of their neighbors catches wind of this, as Nora describes him to be the unofficially elected war boss of the neighborhood.
Somehow it just doesn't seem right.
Well, that's really not up to you to decide, is it?
But I gotta tell you, a lot of the neighbors are pretty upset.
Really?
Christmas has always been a neighborhood thing around here, you know that.
Yeah.
Everybody decorates, everybody bakes cookies and swaps gifts.
Ah yes, you see, Dan Aykroyd here gets it. Remember, you can't spell Christmas without conformity. Jump forward to the next day as the entire neighborhood is outside the Crank's house, demanding they put up their ceramic Frosty the Snowman. Nora cowers in their bedroom as she calls Luther to figure out a solution. Meanwhile, he appears to be drinking a Diet Coke and that yogurt that Jamie Lee Curtis now sells in commercials everywhere. Now, hypothetically, she could just call the police because these people are, for lack of a better word, trespassing on her private-owned property. You know what, the more this plays out, maybe I am starting to side with the Kranks a little bit more than I thought I was going to. Hot damn, sure is a shame this movie takes place in Chicago instead of somewhere like Texas. Down there we got ways of making sure people get off our property, like the census and carolers and nosy neighbors of all kinds. And it's called my boomstick Lucille.
Claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. You and Luther do not have to do anything. Just leave Frosty on the front porch. We'll put him up for you.
They said they'll put him up for us.
Absolutely not.
Oh, please, Luther.
No.
Luther!
Since she doesn't know what to do, Luther suggests that she leave the house for a little bit. But as she tries to drive away, we get some shenanigans as Vic chases after her, demanding the world from her and her husband. She manages to get away, and she meets Luther at the mall for a luncheon. As he reveals a surprise to her, they're going to get tans in a tanning salon before they go on the cruise. So this can result in even more shenanigans as we get a woman behind the desk with a bad tan, a man accidentally walking in on Nora and then he just disappears into thin air, and she even comes across their pastor while wearing a revealing swimsuit. Ha ha! How wacky. Oh, and of course, he also is none too pleased with them going on vacation this year.
We've made the front page. We've made the front page.
That evening, Officer Cheech and Chong and Officer Gary Busey Jr. are going door to door to sell calendars, and because Luther is being cheap and doesn't want to support the men in blue, he doesn't buy one. As the two officers go across the street and tell the neighbors about Luther's stinginess, they convince some carolers to go over and sing to the Kranks.
Are those folks home?
Yes, they are.
Are they Jewish?
No.
Buddhist or anything?
No, that. They're just trying to avoid Christmas this year.
Then the whole neighborhood joins in caroling, much to the Kranks' annoyance. They ultimately have to go hide in the basement. Also, we see this horrifying Frosty the Snowman that they have in there. Is this a horror movie all of a sudden? Is the snowman going to come to life and attack people? Like there's actually a movie about this or something? Let me guess, that actually exists, doesn't it? Well, things only get worse come Christmas Eve, as we see Luther has taken some Botox and it's resulted in a rather embarrassing display. And for some reason his tan is coming back through, only for it to go away again in the next scene. But as they're getting ready for their cruise, they get a call from Claire who tells them that she didn't go to Peru, she instead went to Miami, and she's coming home for Christmas with her apparent fiancé that she just met a few days ago. And instead of being honest with her, they tell her that they're getting ready for the Christmas Eve party, meaning they'll have to scramble to get ready before she gets home.
If we pull it off, Larry is never gonna know about your stupid, ridiculous, childish scheme of skipping Christmas.
So despite the entire first half of the movie, the film shifts gears to them trying to get ready for this Christmas party before their daughter comes home. Luther runs off to get a Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree lot doesn't seem to have any left. Well, okay, they do have one, but it's basically a stick. And despite gouging the price to $75, he buys it, only to throw it away when he gets home. What a waste of $75. Then time for even more shenanigans as Luther notices one of his neighbors is going out of town to visit family, so Luther asks if he can borrow their tree. The neighbor agrees, and with the aid of Vic's son Spike, they're able to get the tree and of course damage it in the process. And then after being tipped off by a neighbor watching all of this with binoculars, those same officers from earlier show up and arrest Luther, but Spike reappears after disappearing just to confirm Luther's innocence. Well now, that was pointless. Meanwhile, Nora and some other woman race to get the last of the honey ham at the grocery store. It results in mugging, pratfalls, Nora bothering other shoppers in the checkout line, and ultimately she ends up dropping the ham on her way out, and it rolls into the street only to be hit by a semi. Come nightfall, and Luthor is just now getting around to putting their Frosty statue on their roof. After even more spying from the neighbors, Luthor promptly slips and is about to fall, but he is saved when a rope catches his leg, resulting in the Frosty shattering into a bunch of tiny pieces. And despite not liking Luthor's behavior, the neighborhood agrees to help them get the Christmas party ready before Claire arrives. Vic tells them to go and bring some food, as well as telling the police to escort Claire home themselves. Well, now I'm confused. Is this one of those small towns that is so small it only has 2 police officers in it? They pick up Claire and her fiancé and Ricky at the airport while we get a montage of the rest of the neighborhood scurrying to get things ready.
Welcome, United States. Hand me those bags.
Officer Fromeyer here. Did you read me?
What the heck even was that? Please, movie, whatever you do, do not have editing on par with Carnosaur 3. I had to watch Carnosaur 3 earlier this year, and whatever you do not want to take up editing like that movie had. Spike tells the officers to stall while they're still setting things up at the Kranks house. Here we establish a man who apparently knows everyone in town named Marty, even though no one else seems to know who he is. Outside, they get the lights put on the house, and they try to turn them on, and then the whole street goes without power. Which doesn't really matter because they get it up and running in the next scene. Yes, thank you for that. That really accomplished a lot. Meanwhile, with the stalling, the officers notice a burglar in the city, and after some slapstick, they have the crook arrested. Once they finally make it to the party, the Kranks meet her fiancé, everyone seems to have a rocking good time, except for Luthor, who's still bummed out and still wants to go on vacation.
You're still moping because you don't get to go on your precious little cruise.
There's still time.
What?
We can still go.
Luthor?
Listen to me. Enrique and Blair could stay here, have the house to themselves. We go, and we all have a romantic getaway.
While left all alone, Luthor notices his neighbors across the street, Walt and Bev, who they previously established has cancer. So in the spirit of giving and wanting to make up for his behavior from earlier, Luthor goes and gives them the tickets to the cruise so they can have at least one more Christmas together. Meanwhile, Spike notices the man in the back of the police car, and he lies to the child about wanting to go inside and get some food for his family. Like a complete fool, he lets the man out, and he promptly starts robbing the house. But he doesn't get very far as he's bonked out by Marty in a Santa suit, revealing that he was the Santa selling umbrellas at the beginning of the movie. You see? I told you that would come back later in the movie. I knew it! And so the movie ends with the party going off without a hitch. Frosty is alive somehow and waves while Marty gets into his VW being pulled by some reindeer. Okay, so Marty was just Santa Claus the whole time. I don't know, and I don't care. Christmas with the Kranks. More like Christmas with the crap. So that was Christmas with the Kranks. Overall, it's a pretty underrated gem. Not only does it have someone who I agree with on a lot of things, like Tim Allen, but at the end of the day, this is probably one of the most tone-deaf Christmas movies. I mean, really think about it. It's a movie that says that you're supposed to put on a smile and spend time with people who you're just kind of okay with half the time. If that's not accurate, then I don't know what is. And no, Ariel, before anyone says anything, it's not because I'm antisocial and don't have many friends and don't interact with people very often.
Claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
But gosh darn it, I wish there was a way I could just go back in time and stop this movie from ever being made. You know, that sounds like an idea. Well, it's another Christmas season, and it seems that these godless heathens are trying to take the Christ out of Christmas. Gee, thanks, Obama. Well, at the very least, at least we have the good people at PureFlix and Kirk Cameron coming out with a Christmas movie soon, so maybe, just maybe, I can still have a little bit of faith. Aha! Just the man I wanted to see. Holy smokes, what's going on? Bang, 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 bang. Oh, geez, ah! Ah, I did it. I saved the world. I went back in time and stopped myself from ever making this dumb web series. Haha. But wait, that means that I'm no longer going to exist in this timeline. Oh geez, I didn't really think this through, now did I? Oh, of course, Ariel, that's just so typical of you. Even when I'm slowly fading out of existence, you still have to nag my ear off. You know, I am really not going to miss you when the new year comes. I am so not missing you. Ugh. Don't really know what that was supposed to do. He just kind of shot a toy weapon at me. Who was that man, anyway? Jeez, well, whatever. Either way, Merry Christmas, and may Jesus be with you.